Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I'm going to take you through the steps of how I go about doing body work to prep for paint, okay? When I started off this series of videos, I started off with you guys on painting the body of this car, but I had an extreme amount of questions from that video, and I made a promise and throughout the course of several other videos that I would do a bodywork video. Here it is. It applies to any car, especially with the restoration part of it. I don't care if you got a 68 Camaro or an 89 Mustang like this, okay? All the steps and processes are pretty much similar. Obviously, every car is different and every scenario is different. However, with the basic steps that I'm going to show you in this video, by the end of this, you should have the confidence and some of the knowledge enough that you can actually take on a project like this with 100% confidence. I know you can do it, guys. All right. So with that being said, all right, let's go. One of the reasons why I've been putting this off is because this car, I'm going to show you what a crackhead does when they do body work, okay? Because this is unlike any shit I've ever seen in my life. All right, this is what we're up against, guys. Now, at first glance, you're like, oh, no big deal. Let me just show you. I started working this already. This is down to the metal. I worked this a couple months ago. But you have multiple layers of just polyester putty / Bondo. And here's the reason. I think this is either they had a wing on this, or maybe it's an LX. But I don't remember anything that had all these holes. All right, so I don't know why they drilled them. But instead of repairing it the right way last time, all they did was they fiberglassed over these holes and then built up the entire panel with Bondo. I mean, it's about 20 pounds heavier than it's supposed to be. And now I got to unpick the situation. So it is what it is. So we got to grind all that off. But the first order of business is going to be to remove all these rivets where the molding goes. So I'm going to grind all these off, because we're not using the standard stock style molding anymore. I'm going to use a rubber molding, like a newer updated version, because I cannot find molding for this anywhere. I've gone to the end of the internet looking for the molding. However, I think it'll give it a little bit more modern look, which is cool. And I hate dealing with the snap-in molding anyway. Had I known this, I would have prepared the front windshield the same way. However, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, we're grinding all these rivets out. And then we're going to start stripping all this nasty Bondo off. It's ridiculous, guys, but this is the kind of things that you come across when you're restoring a car and it's old and multiple people have had their hands on it. If you don't like it, sometimes you gotta stop and eat a fucking tomato. Alright, you see we got the rail pretty clean. A little bit of cancer over here we're going to try to fix. But see, all the rivets are gone. Alright, now we'll start stripping it. Alright, so now guys, don't fall in love with any one particular stripper. They don't last too long. Alright, so it's good when you're doing this type of work, you gotta have multiple strippers in your life. Okay? You never know when one stripper is going to flake out on you. Alright, so you gotta have many other strippers and various types of strippers, okay? Don't just rely on one stripper to take care of you. There's no science to this, guys. You just gotta put the work in right now and get nasty. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this was black. It was painted white. Then you see this yellow. That yellow to me looks like a polyester putty spray, like spray Bondo. Then they primed it They painted it black again, and that's, I mean, it's just, there's no dents. There's nothing wrong with this metal. This metal's in good shape here, believe it or not. I had one little dent right there, right? But for whatever reason, I mean, the thickness here is unbelievable, how thick this is. So, again, you know, for whatever reason, they did all that work. That's like 2 or 3 crack rocks. They were smoking it, and they just kept on doing it and kept on doing it, because no reasonable person does work like that. It's unbelievable. Oh my God, it's incredible. Incredible. I've never seen anything like this. The metal's good, guys. A couple little dents here and there, but I've never seen anything like it. Maybe they were looking to put weight on the car so it would hook better or something. Alright guys, real talk now. I've ground all the paint off, and Bondo, and fiberglass, and bullshit. Okay? Got it all off. Alright, started raining on me. It started flash rush thing, so no big deal. But you know, I'm in South Florida anyway, so the humidity's coming, and we want to prevent this from rusting from this point to the time when we do our body work, and then get it in primer. Once we get in primer, we're good. Some people will prime the whole thing now and then do the body work and then spot it in. But I got to do a lot of welding on this, because these holes, I still can't figure out why there's so many freaking holes. So, muriatic acid, right? I use a spray bottle from like, for car wash, car wheel wash, because these spray bottles hold up to the acid, right? Just spray a little bit on, right? And just get it into the metal. Right, what that's going to do, it's going to give you a couple days. It's going to get all the rust off, all the oxidation. It's going to stop it from rusting further for maybe a day or two. All right, so I'll pick this up another day. If you let this sit, I mean, forget it now. It'll just really rust, because this Ford metal, old stuff, loves to rust, guys. All right. Then what I'll do is just spray this down with water. If anybody knows what these holes are, please comment. I'm dumbfounded. All right. So right now I'm just going around knocking all those rivets in, those molding rivets that we ground down. So I'm just knocking all of them in, you see. So this has been repaired multiple times. I mean, there was probably a factory one here, then somebody else drilled another one. So this thing has definitely seen its day, for sure. So you see the little rivet. Pop them through, you know. Then I went here with my little portable sandblaster and cleaned this out a little bit. I started prepping all these holes that we're going to fix. We're going to knock these in and then put a piece of metal in there and weld it up on all of them. It's a fucking disaster. And then one thing I want you guys to notice, see this like little gold color? This is what happens when you put the etching acid on there, and it gives you that rust protection for, you know, just a couple days. So this way, while we're working on it, it's not rusting on us. All right, so let's get to it. Keep going. All right, guys. So I got all these holes prepped up. Okay, most of them are good. But then we get to the bottom here. Yeah, Big problem. All right. So with these stuff like this, guys, you got to pick and choose your battles in life. Okay. I know if I come in here with the welding machine, like this might be okay. This might take it. But I'll show you one. But like this right here, you ain't gonna be able to weld that. That's got cancer there. Okay. A couple of them. This one iffy, but this one for sure is gonna be a problem. So you got to pick and choose your battles. We'll see what happens. I'm not gonna recreate this piece. It'd be a nightmare to deal with that. All right. If I can fix this with with like a fiberglass reinforced filler and get 10 to 15 years out of my paint job, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll just go around now, weld everything up. If something crazy happens, I'll show you. The only advice I can give you is when you're welding holes up like this, especially on this real thin stuff, try not to go right at the hole. Okay, start above it and then drag your filler down. Quick tacks, usually about 4 to 5 quick tacks per hole will get you covered up. All right, so I'll try to show it to you, and you take it from there. Okay, but if you go right for it, you're gonna blow it out. That we don't want. So I'll start up here on the top, couple quick tacks here, and then just get enough material on there to fill this hole in. Got to take your time, nice and easy, okay? Real critical. So a couple tacks, keep it moving, let it cool off, go on to the next one. You know, don't go at it, don't keep welding, all right? Because if you keep on hammering down, you're gonna warp stuff, okay? It's really not difficult to warp it. So, like in this case, I'm just doing one hole, taking a break. I'll go do somewhere else, you know, another one in a different place, come back, nice and easy. All right, this shit, it takes time. All right, can't rush it. Okay guys, so I got all them holes welded up, ground down nice. Okay, now on to the next thing. I cut a bunch of these little squares that I'm going to put in from underneath and then tack them around, like a couple tacks. No big deal. Try not to warp anything, right? But there's a million ways you can do this. You can make these round or get some washers, whatever you want to do. Then hold them flush and then tack them. But in this case, I'm saving time. It's not that serious. I'm going to put it underneath, tack it around, grind them flat, hit it with some quick body filler, and see you later. All right? Because Tony D wants to ride, man. I'm not going to sit here and make. I'm not making this hatch perfect. All right? It's going to come out beautiful, but I'm not going to sit here and try to do everything so proper, because this thing, you know, like I said, after we're done working on this, if it lasts 10, 15 years, that's all I'm looking for. I mean, that's fine. 10, 15 years from now, we'll do it again. If I'm still around. That's it, guys. Just a couple little quick tacks. That's all you need. So when you grind them down, they look like that. Okay? We'll just skim that with some filler and be done with it. Alright? Easy. Easy peasy. Quick. So I got one pass of fiberglass, reinforced fiberglass filler on some of the real trouble areas that I had where it's kind of rotted. But now we're gonna fill these in, okay? And I'll show you the product here. This stuff works really, really good. All right, so this is a Evercoat FiberTech fiberglass reinforced polyester filler. Okay. Now I'm gonna do this in one shot because I don't have much left. But the only thing I can tell you, one trick, if you notice while I'm doing this, at the end, when you're done doing your filler work, try to leave just a little bit on your mixing board. You can stick your spreader to the board. This way, when you come back, you can peel it right off and you don't got to sit there and clean it because these things are expensive. You know, you don't throw them away, right? The paper here, I mean, these mixing boards are made for doing mix and body work, or you know, polyester products. However, a lot of people use cardboard. I've done it many times, but it's really, you're not supposed to. But if you're going to use cardboard, put a skim coat of filler on the cardboard, let it dry, and then mix on top of that. You'll be fine. All right. So we get this mixed up, and we'll put some on. Easy. All right. Get my filler on the board. Take my hardener. Now, how much hardener? Kind of rounds, go from the middle out. Middle out. Doesn't matter what size your pile is, middle out. That's about what you want. So I don't want it to kick too fast, because this is kind of a large amount. I want to dry nice and slow. Something like that. Not too much. People say don't mix it up like this. Put air bubbles. I mix up like that. So I'm going to do that. Get my cuchara spreader. Grab it. Just fold it over. Okay? It's almost ready to put it on. Now you don't want to leave it in one big clump like that. It's going to start making heat. So if you take it, drag it out a little bit like that. It won't kick as fast. I'll make a mess with this stuff now. Guys, this is what I was telling you. When you're done at the end, scoop it up. See, I got a little bit of waste, but that's good. I'm gonna push it down like that. That's the best trick I can give you with doing body work, right? Because when this thing dries, you'll peel it right off. That's only one coat of this, and that's it. That's all it's gonna get. All right, the rest will be just regular Bondo or polyester filler. Okay, from this moment. All right, notice how it goes on, nice and thin, but it did the job you wanted it to do, okay? Real simple. We'll let that flash up for a while, and then we'll start sanding on it. So I took the D8 to that fiberglass filler, all right, 36 grit, and then I hit it with some 80 just to feather it out. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm not looking to make it dead flat. That's why I did with the DA. So I got a little bit of a low spot on all of them. So this way when I come back with some standard filler, I can make it nice and smooth. So then I just go around. See, I found a little dent here, found another dent. There's a dinger right there. Another, there's like a high spot right here. There's a couple little dents right here. We got those. And then there's like a little low spot. So just go around with the marker, mark everything. You know, when I'm feeling it flat nice with my hands, you know, your hands can feel a lot, okay? So when you feel a little wave or imperfection, you find it like that. Alright? So I'm going to break out some regular filler, start loading it up. As I was mentioning to you guys earlier, you know, after you use your spreader, you know, you want to have a little bit extra. Look what happens. Beautiful, right? Now you don't got to clean it. Just take this side, pull that off. Thing's brand new, guys. Ready to go. Okay? Look. Just saves time. Alright, here's what a nice skim coat of regular body filler looks like. Alright, now I put it on nice and easy. Put it on very thin because I'm not too far out of shape. So I just wanted to get good coverage. Alright, and then instead of using the DA now, we'll transition over to this. Right? It's my air board, right? It's the money maker right here. Okay? So I'm gonna run this on there real quick because we're gonna go straight to finishing glaze right after that. If you don't have an air board, get you a block. It takes forever, guys. All right. So here's what it is. All right. So we're gonna run the air board on there. We'll knock this down. We'll start getting it nice and flat. Then we'll do a maybe like one coat of final glaze on this, and we should have it pretty good. If you look real close right here, you see a difference in color. So that means that area is low. Okay, this is higher. So what we're doing is we're feathering the edge in and trying to match all this down. Okay, so it's okay at this point, after you run the longboard, to come in with a hand block and start hand blocking. But I mean, I can feel a low spot right there. So by the time I start blocking, I might make it better, but we're going to finish glaze this at least one time. Alright, and that should straighten this all out. Keep going. Next step, this is going to be the finishing putty. You can see it's kind of liquidy. Goes on real nice. Alright, here's how we're looking. Alright. Make my little marks knowing where I got to hit yet. And that glaze levels off, so you put it on and it's going to get nice and flat and smooth. Then we'll step up our sandpaper from 80 to 180. Let's go. On me yesterday, so we're back at it. Now I gave this a little skim coat, hit it with a couple of blocks, multiple blocks, guys. Sorry for the noise, it's loud. Now we got hard block, long block, soft block, little hand block here. You know, use whatever you got, okay? But ultimately, you know, you want to start off with the harder block and then work your way up to like a little flexible block or soft block. Now, I mean, you can clearly see what's going on here. High spot, high spot, high spot. It's high right here. A little something funky going in here. This is where that This here is like a classic situation where you have some like metal stretching and warpage and stuff like that. All right, see it's high here. So what I do is, you could use a chip and hammer, or you could use something like this, a body hammer, very lightly. What I like to do, I just like the hammer, I'm not putting any pressure, just let the hammer, the weight of the hammer bounce. See how it's bouncing? So when doing that, I'm checking and I'm feeling, I mean, that works. It doesn't take much, guys. All right, that works a lot. You're shrinking it down a little bit at the same time. So I'll just keep checking with my hand. Like I come over here, I feel something weird right here. I feel that high spot. Goes away just like that. You got to get a kind of a feel for that. Takes a little while, you know, but it's just and you do this as much as you need to. You gotta feel something right there. Alright, so now what I'll do is we'll just give it a nice tight coat in some of those problem areas, real thin with our finishing glaze, and then sand it nice and flat. Alright, that's what our finished product's looking like. Now you can see, you know, this was a high spot, low spot, high spot, low spot, but it's to the touch. It's to the point now where primer is going to take care of the rest of it. Alright, we're going to use a high build primer, and then we're going to block the primer, and that'll level all this stuff out. Alright? So let's get on that. I'm trying to beat the rain today, guys. Rain's coming. Guys, I did a paint video when I started off this series of videos. Refer back to that video when it comes to like the mixing of the products and the application of the primer, okay? But right now we got everything in prime, all right? And you'll notice the black, that's my guide coat, all right? So use like regular guide coat, okay? So now it's got a couple coats on there. We got our guide on, so we're gonna let this dry now, and then we're gonna come back and dry block it. So after we dry block it with 180, we're gonna prime it again. All right, when that primer dries, we'll flip it over. We'll paint the inside. After that's dry, we'll flip it back over. And then we get into our wet sanding and our final finish, okay? We'll do some dry blocking. what I do is just take a piece of DA paper, put it up on my soft block. For this, because it's not very flat, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to start off with this, and then it's pretty good actually, but I might switch to a long block. We'll see. So just start touching it now. Once again, X's. Now I don't have to pull all the, see like in here, and I'll just want to go get that little, because there's a body line right here, so you want to make sure you don't roll your body line over too much. You don't got to go crazy with trying to get all this guide cut off for now. You can see this body line's coming up real nice. Because we're going to prime this again. And that's not, see, like that's the difference. I mean, right now, when I'm showing you guys, this is the secret sauce, okay? You do your body work, you prime it with high build. You come back, and you dry block it. Because we're using 180 paper. When you use 180 paper, you want to cut. You're cutting this primer, flattening it out. If we're doing wet sanding or using any kind of finer grit paper, you're going to start going over those imperfections, whereas this, we're cutting right through it. So after we do this, then we'll prime it again, high build, and then we'll wet sand, okay? And it just gets all those micro imperfections out. Now there's a natural low spot from when they made this, so you can see it's going to be low all the way through in here. It's alright. We might get the long block and smooth that out a little bit. Notice, I didn't roll the edges with the block, you see? I didn't go nowhere near it at all. Now over here, you can see, clearly see the body line, okay? So this is where I'll go real easy, because I really don't want to touch that body line until I get up to the wet sanding stage. But I'll roughly take a piece of 180 by hand and around this corner, all right, and just give it a quick touch, all right, but not try to sand much of it off, because we're gonna roll it with the 600 wet paper, okay, and then it'll come out absolutely beautiful. All right, so mind your body lines, because this is the part where you're going to start shaping your body lines, you know. So if you start rolling it over, you know, you're going to lose, and everything becomes, it's not a crisp, smooth body line anymore, you know. You want to, this is the stage where you want to define your body lines, if anything, okay? You know, it's one thing to show you guys me stroking it, but just to show you what I'm looking at, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. Everything's clean, and then when you get to this area right here, you see a little bit of the guide coat. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's so dusty right now I can't even see the screen. Alright, so whether you can see it or not, trust me, it's there. Now to the eye, you can't see anything, but when I run my hand right where that guide coat is, I still feel the slightest of low spots. This right here, guys, is the difference between a good paint job and an amazing paint job. It's right here, okay? So in order to eliminate that, I'm using a long hard block, about the longest one that I can get on this panel comfortably. All right, and I'm gonna sit there and you'll see me working it like this, because it's such a big piece, and then I'll work it like this, and I'll work it like that, and I try not to do like this, because you're gonna make grooves in it. So a little bit like this, an X, a little bit like this, and just keep on going, all right, until this is, you know, until it's dead flat. I mean, it's pretty flat everywhere else except that one spot right here. So you'll see that. You'll see that in your paint job. So, how long does this take? A lot of people say, how long does something like this take? How many hours? As many hours as it takes. This is one hatch. I showed you from stripping it down to this point where we're hard blocking it. This is where like 30 hours already, guys. It's a lot of freaking work. All right, this ain't. It's definitely not a fast process, and if you make it a fast process, it's going to be a quick paint job. Quick paint job, you know what it's going to look like. Quick paint job. All right, let's keep on going here. Obviously, you could probably do it in a better place, but it's what we're working with right now today. It's nice out. There's not too much dust or pollen in the air, so primer, it's fine. Just shoot it on there. You're going to sand it anyway. It dries so quick, too. It becomes dust-free in like a couple minutes, so it's not a big deal. But, I mean, technically, you should be like in a booth, but whatever. Trying to ride, guys. So, like I said, go back and watch the paint video. See, when I decided to paint this car in the way I'm doing it in multiple pieces, with this color being that it's a solid color, there's no metallic, no pearl, no candy. I'm sheeting the inside with single stage urethane. The exterior is getting base coat, clear coat, but you know, if you're going to do a color like this, there's one benefit, and that benefit is you can cheat. All right, so it's hard to cheat with painting, but when you can cheat, go ahead and cheat. Okay, this saved me doing it this way a ton of time. All right, single stage urethane, there's nothing wrong with it. It's good, especially on the interior. It's never going to be in the sun. It'll last a million years, guys. Okay guys, it's been about a week. Throw this sucker out in the sun today. Get a little heat into her while we start wet sanding. Alright? We're going to do a little something different here, guys. We're going to paint this like a matte black on the inside. And we're going to two-tone right here. Okay, so let's get on it. Get our water together, our sandpaper, and get to work. 600 grit. You can see that's where I gotta still go, but see how all the guide coat's gone now. And when it's wet, you can kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like. All right. So you use the light to just guide you along. Make sure you're doing the right job. All right, so just block 600 now. I don't use a block when I round these corners. I just fold up the paper 3 ways and use my hands, you know. Just round the corner nice. And that's pretty much it. You just got to put the time in and wet sand. Great product. All right, this is a Pro Mask. This is really good when you don't have like a tape machine or you just want to save a bunch of time. So I recommend something like this. You get this at your local body shop supply. All right. And right now we got the GTI Pro Light Blast PPS paint system, and we're going to go with black, satin black. This is an Advantage product, single stage urethane. This is the right black. It's just the right black for everything. All right, so I'm going to get this all mixed up in the gun, get a couple coats on, let that dry, then we can move on to the hatch. You take your time, nice and easy, guys. This is the part that you definitely don't want to rush, because this is the time where, you know, all your hard work comes to affliction, and you can take a step back after that and say, wow, you know, came out awesome. So I have a pretty confident that it's going to come out awesome. Every once in a while when I do a paint job on something, I like to leave a little something somewhere, and I think that on the wing right here, it's got a little scar, and I left that just because she got to remember where she came from. All right, I mean, I'm scarred up, so it'll kind of match its owner a little bit. So if you're gonna murder something out and go either satin or full flat, spray it wet. You know, wet the whole thing out. This way it dries together. If not, you're gonna have streaking, and then you can't fix it. All right. So wet it all out, nicey nice, and then you'll see as this starts to flash off, it'll actually start to go satin. It's like 3 coats. Still a little wet, but I'm a risk taker. I'll go ahead and fill it up a little bit for you. I get impatient sometimes, but my biggest downfall with this type of doing this stuff. But I like to peel it while it's wet too, so it helps you avoid any type of paint flaking and stuff like that. And don't worry about those edges. We'll fix all that when we do fine line tape to correct that part. Boom! Wet sanding my little fingers off, and just wanted to show you and point out, this is that part of the process I was talking about when you to really start defining your body line. And as you can see, you come up to this edge here and they don't roll over. So I've done this flat, I'll do this flat, and then that little edge I'll just go over by hand and roll it over nice. That's how you get them real nice, crisp, sharp body lines. Alright, and then, like I said, we use our water to see how it's going to look when it's done. So we'll just give you a little, we'll just give it a nice little rinse. And this is what it'll look like after we get some clear coat on it. So we're going to use the light. We're going to look for any imperfections now. Look at them palm trees, boy. See that, guys? So that's done. Your prep job is your paint job, guys. You've heard me say it a million times. And that's where we're at, okay? All the wet sanding has been done. Took a few hours. It's all wet out right now, so I can see how we're looking. Should be looking just like that right before you paint it. Look how nice that dulled out, guys. See, when you when you use the light again to look at it, you know, you could see when we put it on, it was nice and wet, but it flashed off as one. You know, there's no overspray on it. So yeah, it came out real nice. Happy with that. I think it's gonna look cool. It's gonna be different. All right, so now we'll use some fine line tape. And we're gonna take this off. I'll scuff this lightly. And then we'll use some fine line tape to tape that off nice. And then that's it. This will be done. You can't pay someone to do this kind of work. You know what I mean? If you did, you're gonna pay millions of dollars, and guess what? You'll never get somebody in a shop unless you're paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get this type of result out of something that you can do as long as you invest the time, a few bucks, and some hard work. Okay? That's what it takes to knock out a good paint job, a decent paint job, a show quality paint job. Right? Can we take it a little bit farther? Maybe prime it one more time, block it again, get it absolutely perfect. I mean, right now I can, right now I can tell you it's pretty close to perfect, but there's always a little something here and there. It's not exactly 100% perfect. But if we wanted to, we'd throw one more round of primer on, block it again, and then that's the difference between like a show quality finish and a guaranteed like winning best of show with your paint finish, so long as you have judges that know what they're looking at. So that's what it takes. You guys can do this. You just got to spend the time, a few dollars, and you got to be willing to put the work in and get nasty. Got the solar wing on there now. That's a must-have if you have a GT, in my opinion. But yeah, it's an old school GT styling solar wing. Okay, and if you notice, I deleted the factory molding and went with a universal windshield molding. Thank you to my boy Danny H over at AAA Auto Glass of the Treasure Coast in Florida. All right, he was the right guy for the job. Came out, he gave me a nice windshield, beautiful. We also did the delete, you can see here on the factory molding as well. Really love the way it came out. Nice piece of glass he gave me. So once again, that's Danny over at AAA. Fantastic job. He did a real good job coming out here and banging the glass in. So thank you, Dan. The kind of molding that you're going to need to do that delete, show you the profile. This is the profile of it. Okay, and it has butyl tape or butyl inside of it, so it sticks when you put it on. All right, but that's the it's windshield molding, guys. Okay, and I believe this one is 17 millimeters thick. So that's what you'll need to do the delete if you decide to do that yourself and you find yourself in a situation where you can no longer get your moldings. You can always fix it with this. I got to do a little bit of adjustment yet, get these body lines lined up a little bit better, so it'll take a little time for that, but that's it, guys. You can do this. You can do this, guys. It's all about that solar wing. God, I love it. All right, best part about this. Ready? All right, but so I got everything all wired up too, see? All right, ready for this one? Boom. Like a Cadillac. You can spend days, hours, months on trying to make your body work perfect, all right? And when you guys see me in the shows after this car is done, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, it's not perfect, guys. Even though we take as much care as possible, the first round, we primed it a couple times, I did some base coat, clear coat, and buffed it, right? Even with the amount of attention to detail, there's always gonna be a little something, all right? So can you go the next step further, make it absolutely perfect, sand it again, come in with some color if you need to touch it up in certain areas or fill certain areas or whatever, and then re-clear? Obviously, yes, and then buff and sand again. That'd be a flow coat, okay? A flow coat is gonna guarantee you come out with a pretty perfect finish. when I get to the point where it's all together, I'm going to use it. So if it gets scratched up or something happens, we got to paint it again another day. We'll paint it again another day. It's no big deal, okay? There you go, guys. It's dirty. It's nasty. It's hard work, labor intensive, all right? But if you dedicate yourself, you dedicate the time, you can actually do it, all right? There's nothing that I did here that you can't do yourself, all right? All right, guys. So until the next time, be safe. Peace.